All right, let's get back into this Harlem series review. Let's see who's up next. I'm Asha Sarish, your favorite certified life coach, and we're talking about Harlem. That's on Prime Video. And if you check out the previous videos, I've already talked about the overview of the show, and I got into the love life of Miss Camille here. Okay, now let's get back into Ty. So I told y'all before that Ty is an entrepreneur. She has a tech company, an app called Q. It stands for queer, for the LGBTQ plus community to be able to find love. And in the last season, she is starting to get prepared with starting a new app called P for the polyamorous community. This is Ty. I told you all that she is a successful entrepreneur. She has a tech company, an app called Q, stands for queer, for the LGBTQ community, Q plus community to be able to find love. And she's also developing another app called P, which stands for polyamorous. So I'm not going to showcase all of her love interests, but during the time when she was facing the health issues with the fibroids, uterine fibroids, and she passed out twice, she ended up being in the hospital. She had to have an emergency surgery, and the person that was on her emergency contacts was her ex-husband. Nobody knew, none of her friends knew that she was even married to a man before. She was married back in her hometown. It had been like 10 years, and she basically had ran from him. It was this whole big thing where he showed back up, and he was really hurt. He never got over the fact that she left him without answers, and he basically exploited her for money, but then he ended up not accepting the money, and he was there to kind of help her with her treatments because she was freezing her eggs and she needed to get shots. So there was a whole thing, but they had some healing in their relationship, because for a moment there, she hated the fact that he was after her money. Like, he ended up getting over $1 million in this settlement, because technically they were still married when she developed her app. So she was livid, of course, who wouldn't be? But they ended up having some forgiveness and healing and just letting go of the past, which really helped her. Like I mentioned before, she's self-proclaimed toxic. So I'm gonna talk about a few of her love interests that she has had during this during this series. So she was featured in the Vogue magazine for her app, and this white woman showed up to interview her for the article. I feel like I'm saying come to find out a lot, but come to find out, they had already dated before. And when I'm not going to say dated, they had a one-night stand, and the woman had woke up and ate her beef and broccoli or something, and then they never talked again. So she was feeling a way that this woman ate her beef and broccoli and dipped out on her. So they ended up talking it out and talking about the whole thing. And again, her app, Q, is really for Black people in the LGBTQ community to find love. So she promotes Black love, safe love. And so when she was interviewed, during the process of getting interviewed for this Vogue magazine, the white woman basically was asking her, she was letting her know that she was still interested, and she wanted to make up for the beef and broccoli situation. And so Ty was open to dating her, and they were really vibing. Like, they were hitting it off. She was kind of allowing herself to be affectionate, which she kind of has trouble with, and she really liked the woman. But then she was battling with the fact that she promotes healthy Black love, and then now she's with this white woman. And she was already battling with it internally, and then she started to notice people staring at them while they were out. And maybe they weren't really even studying them for real, but she caught a couple people staring, and she just realized she just couldn't handle, she couldn't handle it. So she broke it off with her, and the white woman really, didn't appreciate that. She felt like she was a coward because she wasn't really basing it off of her own feelings towards her. She was basing it off of other people's opinions. So Ty, somewhere in the seasons, I don't know if I'm saying this in order or not, but she found out that she was on this website called She Be Toxic or something like that. And Ty found out that a lot of women were talking about how she is out here in these streets. And another person that's name came up a lot on that website was this girl, Zoe. So she was like, shoot, I need to get with Zoe because me and her on the same type time. We ain't about catching feelings. We about catching these, feelings, but not like that. So she ended up meeting up with Zoe and they became a little fling. It's like, wham bam, thank you ma'am, peace, I'm dressed, have a good day, I ain't gotta see you until the next time type vibe. And that was working for them. Meanwhile, Ty was battling with the fact that she just can't connect with people, isn't in touch with her feelings. So she was really looking for something to love. And so she initially went to a puppy store because she saw a cute little a pet store. She saw a cute little puppy in the window and she was like, maybe I need a puppy. Maybe I could take care of a puppy. And she spent a little time with the puppy and she realized, nah, I ain't ready for all that. So she ends up going into this plant shop and she meets this woman. And it was kind of just like it was no flirting or anything going on at first. It was just more so like, I need a plant. I need something that's requires the least amount of maintenance. What's up? So I think her initial plant that she got from her was a cactus. She took that home. She's like, it was that cactus actually in the picture. So she's like, there's no way that you can kill this. Like, it's low maintenance. You don't need much. Doesn't need much watering. Here, take this. This is how much it costs. They argue back and forth about how much it costs. Whatever. She takes the thing home. As soon as she gets it home on the dang on counter, she's like, oh, you want some sun? She bumps into the thing, knocks it over, accidentally hits the garbage disposal, is dead. She takes it back. I think she gave her a different type of plant. I can't remember what happened with that, but it didn't make it. And she gave her an orchid. So they have this little thing back and forth. And she's like, you know what? I ain't giving you no more plants. But she ends up letting her know that she is interested in dating her. So she's like, I didn't think you saw me in that way. And she's like, yeah. So this woman is older and she knows what she wants and she wants to take things slow. So it's different for Ty because she's like, she's used to flashing her money and getting going to extravagant dates. She's like, yeah, I can do this. I can call this place and, we can have this type of date. And she's like, no, I'm planning the date. And she takes her to like this popular restaurant that serves good fish in the neighborhood. And she's like, oh, okay. So, you really liking me for me and you're down to earth. So she likes her. She experiences intimacy because when she took her home after this fish restaurant date, she took her to the steps and she was like, well, can I come up? She's like, no, I don't do all that. I'm not trying to sleep with you on the first date. Like, let's take your time. You got to take your time with me. So she dismisses her for the night, actually. She's like, okay, well, peace. I'll talk to you later. But she's still thinking about her. She goes home and she calls Zoe. And she's like, pull up. They get ready to have their little booty call when all of a sudden the other lady calls her like, matter of fact, you can come through. Pull up. So she ditches Zoe immediately and she goes to her house and they're laid up like this. They're talking and she was like, this feels good. This is nice. So she's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. She goes to the bathroom. She's like, okay, you can go to the bathroom, but just make sure you don't wake up my daughter. Be quiet. So she tiptoes into the bathroom and then she hears the toilet flush. She's like, oh shit. So she turns around to go back to the room. And guess who walks out the bathroom? You guessed it, Zoe. So come to find out, Zoe is her new love interest's daughter. So that was the cliffhanger from season 2. So season 3, episode 1 and 2, we're introduced to Eva, played by Gail Bean, who is, I think she works for a venture capitalist fund. They are funding Ty's new app called P for polyamorous. So, she's really working to get her this funding and they've developed a relationship in this process. But Eva is starting to flirt with her. So she's kind of picking up what she's putting down, but she's like, I don't know, am I picking up what you're putting down? So basically, she reveals at the end of the episode that she was flirting, that she does want to pursue something outside of the business that they have going. And Ty tells her that she's toxic, but Eva is up for the challenge and she's letting her know that she sees something more to her than just the toxicity and just her past. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this relationship unfolds this season as well and what type of growth Ty has because of it. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Ty's love life and what we've talked about so far.